Hey, everybody. Little late. Yeah. Wait, wait, are you is your screen is it your screen small, or is it just you kind of blocking? I don't wish I could see it. Oh, wow, you need to squeeze that a little or something. Um, oh, we can't hear you. They can't hear you. Can you hear it now? Yeah. Which I hear you just fine. I don't hear me at all, I think.
Oh, there we go. Okay, I got it. I got it. I got it.
She's got it. Has she got it? Can you hear me? Wait, you can't hear? Wait, seriously, no?
Why won't it
Still
go
no
full
nothing?
screen? Ah! What just happened?
What's I am man, I wish I could see what's going on over there, but um so okay, they can hear me. They can't hear you.
But I just added my mic. I mean, I turned like in the settings. You still can't. Okay, we can see her OBS. No, I know you guys can see everything because the issue is I don't have a second monitor, so I'm literally doing this all on one monitor.
Yeah, we didn't.
I tried setting up my old monitor, plugs in and everything, but my computer doesn't recognize it. So
Oh,
I'm
we can hear you now. They can hear you.
okay. You can hear
Clear,
both
loud
of
and
us.
clear. Right. Like
All right.
all good.
All right. So then we're just gonna start.
This has been a process and a very busy week. We are
Yes.
this is gonna be fun
Yes. We're here. It's Monday and
to
we're here.
spend our this is our last ish Falcon Winter Soldier discussion.
Yes, it's been a journey, folks. It's been a journey. I've loved the I don't want to say I love the show. Um I loved Bucky and I loved Falcon. Even Zemo grew on me. Um I love the message of the show. They hit on a lot of really important issues that are very relevant to today. Um,
Yeah.
I just, my issue, of course, was the violence, the extreme
Yeah.
violence. But other than that, it was great.
Yeah. This um yeah, unlike WandaVision, this one was a very straightforward kind of show. Like there wasn't that mystery
Hmm.
much. In fact, I feel like the only mystery was the power broker, and we figured that out like day one.
Yeah, and that was one of those things that they talked about in the behind the scenes. Hold on, what was his name? They had like I don't know, I guess the directors and costume people. Oh,
Yeah,
Spellman. Okay, he talked about how um, the mystery of the power broker, and they kept going back and forth. Are we making it too obvious? Are we not making it too obvious? And they felt like
yeah,
they did a good job of not making it obvious in the end. Um, but I would disagree
yeah.
with that.
Yeah. It's it was it was very easy to narrow down.
Well, I felt
and
felt like there really wasn't too many options, and she was being. I mean, like I said, I didn't know. I was kind of like, I don't know if it's her. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I wasn't thinking too much about it. But like, she was very shady through the whole thing, so
mm,
it makes sense that it was her. So
yeah,
um, it
and
wasn't a jaw dropping
yeah,
thing.
yeah. Mm, and they're like, oh, there's this. That is one thing that weirdly weirded me out. So they like man, like CGI is getting like crazy good with how they were like able to just work on like Sam's little neck piece and all that little his little costume.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these little parts were sticking out in the costume, but they CGI'd the thing to where it didn't look like that. I'm just like it's like Vision all over again. It's like, man, it's just so seamless how it doesn't. It looks like it's real.
Literally seamless. Like there were no seams in the back they got rid of, and yeah, the folds. And I remember thinking, like, sort of thinking that, like, when watching that him in that costume, I was like, well, I was thinking like the upper part kind of looked a little bit like a Halloween costume. Yet at the same
Hmm.
time, look at the way it fits him. Like it's like so
Yeah,
perfectly
it's
in
all
place.
snug.
Yeah. It kind of moves with him, and I was like,
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. And I didn't even think it was going to be CGI'd, but it
um,
was. So
yeah,
how
and
about that?
I liked how they. I like again. They also showed like all the comic book references and everything, like the where Falcon came from, where Bucky kind of came from, where
Carly.
John Walker,
Yeah.
U.S. agent, came from, like all of these other things. Ricali, I didn't realize she was a comic reference of sorts. I was thought like she was something new.
I thought it was so. Yeah, I didn't. Well, obviously, I know nothing about the comics. Um, but yeah, I mean, I didn't know she was in the comics, but I thought it was even cooler that like she was originally in the comics. It was a male character, and they made her into a female character, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Um,
and um, and the Madame, the whatever her big long name,
oh,
she
what was her name? Valerie Contessa
Val,
Val.
yeah,
Where did I wrote it down?
Valerie D. Fontaine,
Yeah, like,
something like that.
and she was Valentina. She was like, I'm gonna be honest with you. I just heard the name, and I was sold.
You know, just like, and then yeah, and seeing what her comic counterpart looked like, was like, oh, I can see where they came from with her, like why she had this blue streak in her hair. It's like, why does she have that? And it's
Yeah,
like, oh, I know why.
yeah. Yeah, I thought it was really cool how they interviewed her, and I like they called her like a Nick Fury but shady type. I like that. I
Yeah,
was like, oh yeah, that
uh,
I get that. That fits.
yeah.
Um,
I wonder if that means she's gonna be she's gonna be like uh the anti-hero or the villain gatherer. Like there's
mhm.
other like people she starts to gather
Yeah.
or makes her own team.
Mhm. And I love that. Okay, she's technically like this villain, I guess, but she's so likable. Like,
Mhm.
we all loved her anyway. Like, most of us, or many of us, love her from like Seinfeld, like the actress, and
Other, other
yeah,
shows and such, but
yeah,
yeah.
um,
Actually, yeah, this is interesting. It's always interesting to see comedic actors play very serious looking roles. And
hmm
it's like, oh wow, the range.
yeah,
Or even it's like this kind of funny attitude, but it's got a sinister twist on it. Kind of makes it even creepy, or kind of makes it more sinister
hmm
when somebody's kind of having fun with it.
yeah. And too, like it has more of an impact when they do something that's like um, evil, or it's like,
Yeah,
oh wow, oh, I really didn't see that coming. Um,
yeah.
so yeah,
Uh,
I think she was a good choice. Let me
like
check chat. She was hilarious in Veep.
I've not seen that. I remember that long ago though. That show.
I don't even know what that. I've only ever seen her in Seinfeld. I know she's done other things, but
Yeah. Uh, also like the
I love how I can't read my handwriting. Like I wrote this part where they're talking about a character. No idea who the
do
character
you
is because I can't read my
do
handwriting.
you do you write cursive?
No, I write in print,
Yeah.
but it's closer to chicken scratch.
I could never do cursive. It just could not work for me. My brain just couldn't understand it.
Oh, really?
And
I don't. I mean,
yeah.
I can write in cursive. It's just I choose not to. It's so funny because I remember. I mean, times are different. I remember when I was a kid and they were teaching cursive. They were like, "This is very important because when you're an adult, you're gonna have to. This is how you're gonna have to write all the time. You can't do print anymore when you're an adult." And you're like, "Oh crap, I got to learn this." And now it's like
And
times have
then
changed. Nobody cares as long as you can
like
sign your name in script. Like,
yeah, as long as you got like a signature of
yeah,
sorts.
yeah, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
was I write like a doctor, none of the brain power or steady hands. Same. I can relate to that. Um, Carrie? Did I write the name Carrie?
is that the name of the director? Carrie?
Maybe. Oh, maybe that's what I wrote. I don't know. Okay. Um,
Can't read my own writing.
can't read my own writing, and I knew that was going to happen. But let's see. It was, it was cool they, um, well, like they do in the other behind the scenes, they went through each character and talked about what it entailed, like bringing them back, and um, when they talked about Zemo, I thought that was really interesting. Um, especially like, and I said this before, I'm not someone who ever roots for the villain. If you're a villain, whether you're in Star Wars or Marvel, I dislike you, and I don't really care too much about your character. Um,
Yeah.
but here he was this villain from, I don't even remember. I forgot that he was in Civil War,
Civil
right?
War, yeah.
When they showed flashbacks in this, I was like,
Yeah.
oh, now I remember. Like
Yeah.
it,
That was nice to like get these little flashbacks, I guess, for you to kind of because you haven't rewatched these movies a lot.
yeah,
Like,
I've only watched them once. I wish they
so
had done that. I mean, I realize they don't need to for most people, but I wish they had put a flashback in the series because that would have been very helpful because I couldn't place him. I'm like, well, he must have did he wear a mask the whole time? Like, but when they showed the flashback in this, I was like, oh, okay,
yeah,
got it.
that's who you
Now I
were.
remember.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
was very
Actually,
helpful.
yeah. Uh, I also like Zemo's actors. Like he does not talk like he talks in the show. He does not have that scrangy, gravelly voice. He has this very kind of I'm okay. Yeah, it's like
Yeah. Yeah, he does. Um, but he said he was excited to come back. Um,
yeah.
and
And
like
he actually gets to wear like the costume a little bit this time instead
he,
of
yeah, he
like back
said
in Civil War.
yeah, like he got to wear the mask in this one as opposed to I guess last when Civil War he didn't.
Yeah.
Again,
No.
I couldn't remember. But yeah, he was excited that like we could learn a little bit. He gets to learn a little bit more about his character, and so do we. Like that he came from a very wealthy family. We learn that he's actually very funny, and
Yeah.
we get to see this very like human side to him. And
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah.
we got to see that in Civil War, but
But yeah, this time we get he seems more chill,
yeah,
less antagonistic.
yeah, and it's just he was like the comic relief of the show, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Um.
he
It was
was
also
is he a villain? I mean, he is. He really does have a point. Well, and like that, I think they talked about that too. Like, yes, he's a villain, but you understand why he
he
does what he does.
yeah
Like,
coming from understandable reasons
hmm
why he does what he does,
yeah,
even if they aren't good what he does. He's still it's like okay, fair.
yeah. Um, he was in Inglorious Bastards. Less
Yeah.
murdery, murdery. Is that a word? But yeah, he said he was excited to come back.
The Dora Milaje,
Yes, they talked
please.
about that too.
That was nice.
Yeah, and same thing. She was excited to. Ayo was the character's name. Ayo or Ayo.
Yeah.
Was excited to come
Yeah.
back, and
She's
oh, sorry.
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say same thing. Like she's happy to come back, and she's still in contact with the other like a stunt women, stunt actors
hmm
of sorts. The other
Yeah,
guardians.
and she said that they're always prepared. Like they're always like in training. I guess they're always ready to go. So like as soon as she got the call, like or whenever she does get the call, she's like, I don't ask questions. I just go. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
And so it's
Like
yeah.
I was gonna say like Marvel's still gotten that kind of secret uh like keeping spoilers, keeping things close to the chest, where they don't like tell everybody what's what. They kind of like, okay, we can't like let leaks or spoilers get all over the place. So it's like, okay, you can come, but we're not telling you what you're on, like what
hmm
show you're on or what
Yeah.
what movie you're doing. This is like you're playing this character, but you don't know why or where, just sort of thing. Which is I kind of find that kind of amazing how they're able to attempt to do that.
Yeah, like I always, I mean, I understand keeping things under wrap, but it's always very surprising to hear that even like the actors don't know. Like they don't know until they get there, like until the script is in their hand.
Yeah.
So, but again, it makes sense, but at the same time, it's like surprising. I wouldn't have thought that, but it makes sense.
That was like a big joke about Tom Holland's Spider-Man's actor,
Mm-hmm.
how he's like like they always get like the script on the day of shooting,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like sometimes his scripts had different things because sometimes he accidentally like spoiled things. So he's always like, okay, we got to give you stuff that's fake, so you don't know what's real.
Oh God.
And it, it's almost kind of like what they did with Darth Vader. Like they had David Prowse not know he was the father of Luke, but Mark Hamill and everybody else, like nobody else knew except Mark Hamill and
Yeah.
things. So it's kind of like we had this false page here.
Yeah.
Only Mark and us knew.
Mm-hmm. And I remember Mark Hamill talking about that. Like Harrison Ford was really pissed. Like I don't remember what he said to him, but he looked over at him in the, like
Why didn't you
the
tell
premiere.
me? I would have kept it
There were some
secret.
swear words in there, but basically that. Yeah.
It was like that, and I think David Prowse was just like, "Why didn't you tell me? I would have done better acting." Or
Yeah.
like I would have done.
No.
It was like we just had to keep it secret. And I kind of appreciate that, or understand that,
Mm-hmm.
because man, if that like I know it's kind of weird to think about leaks back in like the '80s, like how it but now social media, it's like that's understandable something gets leaked now,
Yeah.
but in the '80s, like man, how crazy would it have been to have something spoiled back in
Yeah.
the '80s or back in pre social media?
Um. Captain Spike, hello. My brain is so accustomed to cursive that I write so terribly in print now. Oh. um. Oh, so Mark Ruffalo also does spoilers.
Yeah,
They're gonna.
he's also slips.
I would find it hard to keep secrets like that from like my family, like friends, social media. I could keep that a secret, but like my family, like that would be hard.
Oh yeah,
Let's see. So they also talked about let's see. Like Lamar was, the Lamar, he didn't know, again, he didn't know he was going to play
Yeah.
him, but he was excited to play him. And he was
Yeah,
like, I
and
hope I get the suit. And he got,
yeah.
some variation of
He
the
got an
suit.
outfit and such. And
John Walker, same.
U.S. agent and all that.
Yeah.
I like what he was saying. Is like usually it's interesting. Like I've never seen him in anything else, but he says like he's played these more chill roles or something like that, or roles that can flip flop.
Mm-hmm.
And this character is almost either like a new level or a new step up, but also like something he's familiar with.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he talked about his character. Talked about, what it means to carry the shield and, how, but like, he's trying to be he's trying to be Steve Rogers, but he's not. He's got this chip on his shoulder,
Yeah.
and he's trying to be good, but he's,
Yeah.
he's trying to be something that he's not, and he gets frustrated, and,
Yeah.
but they didn't spend a lot. I feel like they didn't spend a lot of time with him. He was kind of a quick.
There was a lot of I would say details about this from the show, because I feel like the show wasn't as complex as WandaVision was.
Yeah.
It's
and Mandalorian.
it's still pretty deep, the show, but yeah, it's a very simple storyline. I had heard somebody who said there was like too many plots in this show, and I was like, really? Like what? There was like, I feel like just one.
I think I can see what they're saying. There's the main plot, but then there's all these other stories kind of weaved into that.
Yeah.
I mean, they all kind of connect on some level, but there are all these other stories going on. But I think they did a good job with kind of letting it flow.
Yeah, I also feel like some of them aren't, they weren't meant to be resolved here. They can be set up for later characters to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like that's the thing. Like it was so many plots for 6 episodes. Like they could have done, if they had more episodes, they could have like wrapped up a few things. Like, some of these things didn't need to be wrapped up yet. Like,
Yeah.
they're kind of being saved for later stories, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what's going to come next? Whether this is going to lead into one of the other movies or another TV show.
Oh,
Um,
you did hear that we now have the Captain America 4 on the horizon for
oh,
Sam. So we now have a new,
oh my God!
yeah,
Really?
yep, we're gonna get
Okay.
Sam's getting his movie now.
Oh my gosh, I'm really excited about that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Oh, that's great.
and no idea what to expect in that one, but I'm very excited for that.
Hmm. Yeah, I wonder like who's gonna come back for that. Um,
Yeah, I'm sure Bucky will be back.
I hope so. I like them together. You know, they have
Yeah.
good chemistry, so I like them as a pair. Um, yeah, that was announced at the end of the show. Well, after the
Mm.
show. Listen, I'm like hit
Yeah.
or miss when it comes to news. Some things I see, some things it's like I tend to pay more attention to Star Wars news
Yeah.
than the Marvel news. That kind
Yeah.
of just goes over my head.
Speaking of, did you watch that video? I think it was like EMXD, I think, sent it on the Marvel thing. Was about this trailer kind of
No, I'm
video yet?
behind on trailers and because it's like I want to
Uh,
react to them, but I'm just behind on reacting to
mm.
them.
Yeah, well, I just saw it today. And it's like, man, it's because it's kind of like kind of reminiscing about the past movies and how
Hmm.
this journey's come, and now it's like it's also kind of teasing what's on the horizon. Like
Right.
the next, we're getting like 4 movies this year and 4 movies next year.
Oh God. I mean, it's great. It's
No,
just that's gonna be
I
a
mean,
lot to talk about.
this is more spaced out, like more
Yeah.
like every couple of months instead of like
Yeah.
once a week.
I don't know how we're
So
gonna
yeah,
do Loki and Bad Batch at the same time. Like that's a lot for me. It's only
I
for a few weeks though, so
yeah, I wonder. I wonder how Disney's gonna handle that. I feel like maybe they're starting to test if they can overlap, or
they might.
maybe Bad Batch isn't that long. Maybe it's not like 12 episodes. Maybe
I
it's
heard
like
it's
only
like
four or six.
I heard it's like I thought I heard it's like 22.
Is
I,
it really gonna be 22?
I mean, you can't believe everything you read on the internet, but
I
I'm
Wow.
pretty sure I read
I
that.
I feel like Clone Wars just ended last year. That's kind of amazing they're able to already have like another 20. Like they got 12 episodes of Clone Wars, and then we have like 22 episodes of Bad Batch.
Like I said,
That's
I read it somewhere. It's not like I read this on the official Star Wars website, so
thir-
I just read this somewhere
oh,
on the internet. It could be right.
13 weeks, so 12 episodes. So this week we're getting 2, and then the rest of the weeks we're getting the rest of the 11. So 12 episodes again.
Well, that sounds good. We'll stick with that.
Yeah, Thir- maybe could be 22. Like, yeah, maybe
Who
could also
knows?
be multiple seasons. Doesn't just have to be one season of these guys.
Could be.
But yeah, boy, maybe Loki isn't on Friday. Maybe it's on a different day.
It premieres on the 11th, but that doesn't mean it's going to stick with that day. That's a Tuesday.
Yeah,
Um, they would probably. I would imagine they would do it on different days though, so it might be a
yeah.
Tuesday.
Because I feel like if they're kind of trying to either he's either if the Marvel crowd and the Star Wars crowd are kind of the same crowd, they don't either want them because again they want to keep people on Disney Plus. So to keep them on Disney Plus, they're like, okay, your show is ended, but here's this show.
Yeah.
Like you got to stay for this show, right?
Mm-hmm. Keep your subscription,
So
folks. 16 episodes.
yeah.
Captain Spike says. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I'm hearing so many. I'm just gonna
Can I hear
watch until
12?
it's
Can I
done.
hear 15? Can I hear 25? Going once, going twice. Sold for 16. Okay. Well, I guess we'll know more when the time comes, but
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right. All right, so back to Marvel. So one of the so they interviewed like a lot of the characters and how they found out about the role, like that they were coming back and what their reaction was. But they also talked about I thought was really interesting when they talked about filming in the different locations and how that was affected
Mhm.
by COVID.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I was
So
wondering that, like I wasn't sure when this was filmed and how it was affected, you know, how it
yeah, that
affected
was
the
a
filming.
it's interesting how they discuss like, okay, we got to get everybody out. Like
Hmm.
we got to get everybody out of the country because
Yeah.
they can't be stuck there.
Yeah.
And then they also they talk about like these earthquakes happening. Where
Puerto
what was
Rico.
it? Puerto Rico, right? And it's like, oh my god, like there was just so much going on that year that they were filming. It's just like crazy that they
Yeah.
pulled off what they did.
Yeah, it was like so first they went to like they had like they did all this research and all this planning and like everything was centered around like Puerto Rico. Like that was set in stone. They and you know, like I guess I never really thought about it. All the research that goes into these places, what places would be perfect, what do they know about the place, and um, all things like that. So they had that all planned out. But then there were like two earthquakes there. They were about to send more
Mhm.
people. I think it was like the day before or something, and then they had to cancel those
Yeah.
flights. So then
On the
they,
eve was another earthquake, and then it's like, okay,
yeah,
let's find another place to work. Let's like change our schedule. Let's film here instead. Uh,
um,
Prague
yeah,
is what they're thinking of, and then like sometime during that filming, that's when the pandemic like got serious.
hmm
That's like, so it was like, okay, we gotta get everybody out. It's just like,
yeah, and they did. They booked like 100 flights the next day, because they were worried about everybody getting stuck there. Can you imagine?
yeah, it's like, I
Um,
mean, not getting sick, but getting locked down in a
yeah,
place that they're not from.
yeah.
So
Um,
it's like,
that
okay, we
would
gotta
have
make
been
sure
very,
you're not infected, and we gotta make sure you can't bring any stuff over, just in case that we don't want to be responsible for bringing the pandemic to our country.
yeah. I can't imagine
So,
everything that went into leaving there and coming, coming back
yeah,
home
and
and
then they had to plan to come back. Like they had to plan, okay, is it safe to come back, or can we work with coming back?
yeah.
Just like, man,
And I'm sure more went on than what they said because I feel like I remember hearing another actor talk about this, where like they were getting tested like every few days, so they probably
mm,
were getting tested regularly.
mm,
Um, so I can only imagine
yeah,
how um, like stressful that must have been, and you know wearing your masks and when you're filming, like I don't know, like how close were they allowed to stand? I remember there was one scene. It was like in one of the last few episodes. I feel like it was between Bucky and Sam. They shot
yeah,
it at a weird angle. Like they were doing close-ups of their face, and it looked like they were standing close to each other. But then they like kind of zoomed out, and they like you could tell they were standing far apart. And I thought that was just an odd angle to
mm,
show. And I remember thinking like, oh, are they intentionally like showing that because it looks like they're standing really close, but they want to show that they're not? I don't know. I could be overthinking
mm.
it, but I thought it was like a weird.
I need to like, I'm showing my family Falcon now, like
Oh,
showing
okay.
it to my, so, or I'm catching them up on it, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to keep my eye out for that moment that you're talking about.
Yeah. Um, But yeah, and you see everyone wearing masks behind the scenes, and everyone but the actors. So and that
Yeah,
must have been
we
scary. Like you don't know who has it, if you're gonna catch it. Like
yeah,
I don't know. Like I know what I went through when when we got the all clear to go back to work. Like I was terrified, terrified.
mm,
Um,
yeah.
I don't know. Um, but you could tell they were all really passionate about
Yeah,
this project. I mean, they
taking
were all
taking all the
committed.
precautions, doing
Yeah.
like they. I like how they basically said like it was teamwork. It was all
Mhm.
teamwork to get this done and get this
Yeah.
safely done.
Mhm. Yeah. Um, and they did. And they said like just about everybody came back. So, um, all right. Um, let's see. Well, I know the most powerful aspect I thought of the behind the scenes, and this is kind of like what they ended with, or close to the end, was um, like interviewing Anthony Mackie and talking about everything that Falcon went through, and he has this choice to pick up the shield, and it's not so easy. He's in a different. It was different with Steve. It's different for him, and
Yeah,
and this is something that Isaiah talked to him about, like a black man picking up the shield and what that means, and
what
so.
risks come
Mhm.
with that?
Mhm.
Um,
Um, so and it was just interesting to hear Mackie's perspective on that, and um, when he finally did pick up the shield and put on the suit, and how happy he was that like his kids were gonna get to see
Yeah.
that and have that role model, and
Have have a hero that they can
relate to, that
envision.
looks like
Yeah,
them.
envision.
Yeah, that they
Kind
can.
of like what you were talking about with his with Sam's nephews. Like they were happy to see their uncle be the
Yeah,
captain.
yeah. It gives them hope and something to aspire to and something to connect to. So, um, and they he and the the directors talked about that beautiful speech that he gave in the last episode,
Yeah, like
and
how do we do this? How like he was talking with Anthony. He was like, okay, we go back and forth. Like, is this the right thing we say? Is this how we say it? Like, and all that stuff. It's
yeah,
like,
and
and
yeah,
the
I always
challenge there was
yeah.
and interesting how they accomplished that.
Yeah, you could tell that they put. I mean, you could, when he did that scene, it almost sounded like he was just he was that it was he, Mackie standing there and giving that speech from his
Yeah,
heart. Like it wasn't in a script. It was just it felt like
yeah.
it came from him. Um, so when they were explaining that, you could tell like I don't know, maybe I could they didn't come right out
This
and say
is.
it, but I wondered if he did actually like write part of this, or were they were taking what he was saying and putting it into a script. But I guess there
I
were all
feel
these.
like yeah, he had
Yeah,
some involvement with
yeah,
it, like because I did mention like he has like some personal history
yeah.
that he can relate
Hmm.
to fuel this speech that he is saying.
Yeah. Um,
And
yeah, you could
yeah,
just you could tell like I guess they were all these points that they wanted to make, and they went through it with him, and to make sure, like you said, is this the right thing to say, or how do you feel about this? Where do you stand on this?
yeah,
And so that when he gave that performance, that speech, it was just um,
yeah,
it was very powerful. And again, it felt like he wasn't, it wasn't, felt like he was speaking to our country, the
yeah.
world. It was very well
It,
executed.
yeah, and like that's kind of the thing is like there was kind of a weird argument or something. It was like this is way back then um, about are it's kind of like are these movies cinema? Because it's kind of this like is the Marvel movies like are they worthy of great like cinema or something
Hmm.
like these other kinds? Like I can understand this kind of attitude that's something like about art films or something like this, like what makes film stand amongst other films or something
Hmm.
like what's a great sort of thing. And it's just like, but there is something special about these movies and how they are able to connect and relate and inspire. Is
Yeah.
like, same thing like what Star Wars did back then, how it was able to connect and relate and
Hmm.
inspire.
Hmm.
It's like this is what it's doing now.
Absolutely. I think this.
Yeah.
I think they did a great job of that in this, and they're very relevant to the times, and um,
Mhm. Yeah.
they did a good job of I don't know if the right word is like mirroring what's happening in our world, um,
Yeah.
putting
Kind of putting words in both fiction and reality
hmm
kind of a thing.
yeah,
And that was something else I was interested. When I remember when early on we both you and me were a little confused why Sam gave up the shield.
yeah,
And after this, I was after the finishing it and after kind of this behind the scenes thing, I kind of saw his reasoning in a new light, and I was like, okay, I kind of get it now.
yeah, yeah. In the very beginning, I was so puzzled. I was like, I thought this series was going to be about, okay, he takes the shield in the beginning, and this is what happens after. Um,
Yeah,
and then when he denied it, we figured, okay, so it's going to be about his journey to get there. But I didn't think about what that journey involved for him, what it meant for him to take the shield, um,
yeah,
and not just as the character, but as the actor
yeah,
taking on that role. Um,
yeah.
so and yeah, and so
So
then watching the series and then hearing Anthony Mackie talk about it in behind the scenes, it was very educational and eye opening, and
yeah, And I like that. I like when
Yeah.
things kind of broaden horizons,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
you can. It's always kind of like why like okay, it's like I like when movies kind of do kind of push you out of a comfort zone. They kind
Mhm.
of like okay, they kind of make you see something that you wouldn't see every day,
Yeah.
and it's kind of it kind of get puts it in your mind that like okay, this stuff does exist, this stuff does happen, and you have to think about that sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
But um but yeah, they did
but
I they did a great job with all of that. And
and
it's
I'm
really
excited to see what where Sam goes from here. It's like what's
yeah.
his next challenge?
I know. I'm so excited that they're going to be doing a movie with him. So,
Yeah.
um,
I'm I'm just excited for movies again. Like honestly, I just like the like I said that little trailer that just came out that shows like what's on the horizon. It was just it got me like it kind of just because having not seen a movie since before this pandemic and all those sort of things, it's just like oh my gosh, I can't wait to sit in the theater and just watch a movie
mm-hmm.
again. Like
Yeah.
just relax.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be nice. I'm looking forward to that too. So,
Yeah.
and I guess probably the first movie I end up seeing is going to be Black Widow because
Yeah.
I don't
Probably.
really care about anything else. Nothing Star Wars is coming out anytime soon, so it's going to
Yeah.
have to be Marvel. So, but
What I like besides Star Wars, how often have you ever seen a movie in the theater that
oh,
was something?
I've gone to
I
see
mean,
like a whole bunch of other things.
I saw Harry Potter, didn't you, in the theater?
Yeah, but I mean outside of fandoms, like maybe like a romantic comedy if there's like an actor in it that I like, or like okay, like I love Ewan McGregor. I he did like the Winnie the Pooh, Christopher Robin, like
Oh, you wouldn't
real
see that?
people movie. That was like I feel like 2 years ago. Agent Carter was in that, and
Oh, yeah.
that was the first time I ever saw her, it's so fun. I remember watching it. I'm like, I don't know who this actress is, but she's gorgeous. like she's like
And then she shows up
perfection.
in Captain America.
and then here, and then like, but yeah, there she is in Captain America. I'm like, oh, she's married to Christopher Robin and William McGregor in that movie. um, so like yeah, things like that.
This woman is taking your lovers.
You know, they take them all. um, it wouldn't surprise me if Frankie starts watching the DCEU and loves Birds of Prey. I don't know, it doesn't sound good. I
Huh.
don't know about
Just saw that. Huh.
that. But yeah, so
Yeah.
lots of good stuff ahead of us.
Yeah.
And
And that's kind of a wrap on Marvel right now.
yeah, that's really everything. Yeah, with this series was a fun journey, ups and downs, tears. It was well done though. It was very well
Yeah.
done. So on to the next.
On to Bad Batch
Yes.
Friday.
Yes. I know, guys. Normally, I would do a watch party, but I can tomorrow. I'm looking down at the chat. I have the chat over here. I'll look up at the camera. Um, typically, I do a watch party. I'm not gonna be able to do a watch party till Friday because it's like most days I don't have much going on. But well, no, that's not true. I mean, outside of my anyway. Long story short, this is one of those weeks where I have a lot of things going on, and
Nerdy, very busy.
I'm bad at making schedules and plans, and so I kind of planned a whole bunch of crap at the same time. So, yeah.
But
So
Friday is free.
Friday's stream will be at 7, and I will be doing 7 p.m. Eastern time, and I will be doing back to back. So Tuesday's episode and Friday's episode.
Hmm.
So it's gonna be involved.
You may see.
Go on, hot mess. Go on. I know, hot mess, understatement, but one day I'll get my shit together.
We're all fine here.
We're all fine here. That's the theme of this stream. We're all fine here. How are you? But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for going on this journey with us, and yeah, I hope everybody has
On to
a
the next one.
wonderful, wonderful night. Thank you for chatting with us, and we will catch you all on the next stream. Bye,
Bye.
everyone. Now remember, I only have one screen, so you're about to see my desktop as I end this stream awkwardly. But bye, everyone.